First, we're going to have a couple of presentations tonight, one on Site 12 fieldwork and one on a corrective action for the YF3. So, shall we start with Leo tonight?
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Leo Larson. I'm the RPM on the Site 12.
Could you please keep it
Oh, sorry. How's that?
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
The ongoing Site 12 remedial action and non-time critical removal action. And we'll be doing an update on that tonight. So, general overview of the project. Our project goals: the remedial action consists of 41 excavations on the northern end of Site 12. Site 12 we have outlined in purple up there, northwest of the island. There's also an additional 18 excavations for PCB contaminations in Halliburton Court. Demolition of buildings 1126, 1217, and 1127. The non-time critical removal action, which is the removal of up to 4,000 cubic yards of soil and debris from the North Point solid waste disposal area. There's the removal and remediation of an underground storage tank adjacent to Site 20, which is the purple box within Site 12. One goal that we've completed thus far is the finalization of the work plan, which was back in September of 2018. And we can expect the finalization of the remedial action completion report to be published in April 2020. So the first aspect of the project is our chemical excavations. These are the 41 excavations in northern Site 12, as well as the 18 in Halliburton Court. Our contaminants of concern are lead, chromium, PAHs, PCBs, pesticides, and dioxins. All of our excavations, before we start digging, we bound them with pre-excavation samples for both chemical and radiological. And then once we have the clear footprint, we excavate and backfill to below cleanup goals established in the ROD. Our current progress, we've excavated 39 of the 41 excavations. The remaining excavation after the one that's currently ongoing is beneath the foundation of building 1217. Hydroseeding will occur next week, and all of the hardscape restoration is complete for these excavations. Here's some fieldwork photos, a discrete excavation location, keeping a little dust control going with the hose there. Also associated with the remedial action is the building demolitions. These are buildings 1126, 1127, and 1217. 1126 and 1217 are being demolished, have been demolished due to chemical contamination either beneath the foundation or surrounding the foundation. We demolished building 1127 due to fire damage last year. All of the buildings are radiologically scanned and abated for asbestos prior to demolition. The structural demolition was completed June 26th of all three buildings. The radiological scanning and demolition of the building pads is ongoing, and site restoration will immediately follow. Once again, just to emphasize, all building materials, including the foundation, are radiologically scanned prior to transportation and disposal. You go back just for the photos quickly. To the upper right here, you can see us demolishing building 1217. The excavation equipment has built-in misters, which help a lot with the dust control. And on the bottom right is the cleared pad at building 1126, which is currently being radiologically scanned. One of our chemical excavation locations outside of building 1203, it's part of each of these excavations, even though we are remediating chemical contamination. We do a radiological surface scan prior to breaking ground. In the process, before demolishing the concrete pad, we did an initial scan, came back with background levels. We then demolished the pad. As you can see in the picture on the upper right, there's an orange arrow indicating the area we're discussing. Demolished that section of the sidewalk as well as it kind of goes underneath the building foundation, so it's a thick layer of concrete. After demolishing that, we did another surface scan on the underneath soil. We found radiological levels to be above background. Then as we went in to remediate for the chemical contamination, we continued with the radiological scans until we got back to background levels. The soil was remediated, site restored, soil transferred to Site 32 for further evaluation and preparation of disposal. And we are confident that there was no health risk to the resident, workers, or public, just like there's none now since it's been remediated. The Halliburton Court excavations, there's 18 of them total. This is continuing on from work done 2 years ago in which we were excavating for PCB contamination. The contractor was having trouble getting clean sidewalls. So we are continuing these excavations to make sure that all the PCB is remediated. Excavations are ongoing and scheduled to be complete in September. And this entire area is fenced off, not accessible to the public. Here's a photo of an example of the excavation. As you can see, we're dealing with a lot of groundwater. And the orange snow fence there is actually marking the end of the previous excavation. The non-time critical removal action, this is up in the North Point solid waste disposal area, another extension of previous work completed last year. We're moving to the south of that excavation. Thus far, we've excavated approximately 15,000 cubic yards of debris and soil. Debris that we found included timbers, welding rods, metals, ceramics, plastics, and glass. The excavation is driven mainly by visual debris, so we're digging until we see what appears to be clean sidewalls. We've kind of taken a potholing approach rather than dig our entire quantity of soil. We want to make sure we're seeing what we're chasing. We're at that point now where we're seeing clean sidewalls, and so we've taken confirmation samples for chemical, awaiting all of that data to be complete. Once we have the results, then we'll see if we need to dig anymore. Site restoration is scheduled to be completed by October 3rd. Radiological scanning of all the material is occurring in Site 32. As part of this, the northernmost section of North Point Drive was closed down to accommodate the excavation. Here's a map outlining, it's not as complicated as it looks, but the blue hash marks in that upper zone was the area that was previously excavated. The purple to the top right there, that's our trucking route to get over to Site 32, staying as far out of the way as possible from residences. The orange hash marks is the area that we're currently excavating. Here's what it looked like before we started digging. That's facing northwest, big open field south of Perimeter Road. Here are a couple of our larger potholes. As you can see, once again, groundwater can be an issue, but we're working through it. We saw some debris, and that's what kept us moving out and expanding the excavation. We're now seeing clean sidewalls and awaiting the chemical confirmation data. Here's an example of some of the timbers that we were finding in the area. This is consistent with what they found back last year. One of the bigger patches, this is one of the bigger patches that we found of that particular material. The final element of the project is the removal of an underground storage tank that was previously discovered. It's in the lot next to building 225, just east of Site 20, marked by a red star there. They discovered 2 tanks, which we're estimating to be at about 1,000 gallons each. We finalized a work plan addendum to accommodate this work in August. Work notices will be distributed tomorrow now. That needs to be updated, apologies. The removal of the tank we're hoping to begin next Monday. Overview of the project schedule here. We first mobilized to Treasure Island August 13th last year. Final work plan was submitted September 14th. Began constructing our radiological screening yard pads in Site 32, which were completed in April of this year. Our building surveys, asbestos abatement, demolition, and site restoration. Those activities conducted from September 18th last year and should be concluded September 25th. Our 41 discrete chemical excavations kicked off in January and should be finished through restoration September 25th. The excavation at the North Point Suite kicked off in July, and we're looking to wrap up October 3rd of this year. UST removal starting next week and going through October 4th. Our transport and disposal of all excavated soil. We're hoping to beat this date, but looking at January 10th, 2020, with the final racker submitted April 7th, 2020. That's it. Any questions?